Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and game 3 in this best of 3 matchup between mouz, Morrow and Empire DieStar, this time on Testbug. Hopefully I said the name right. The map was dedicated to a Brood War map maker, and yeah, so this is part of the ICC Cup set of maps. We now have Empire DieStar spawning here at the what I'll call the 3 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have mouz, Morrow spawning here as the green Zerg. Yes, the rogue letting me know the current standings, and I am glad that I am casting these games in order. So Morrow spawning at what I'll call the 10 o'clock position. Now, you guys probably have seen all of these openings already, so I will quickly just talk about what's happening on this map and the different styles of play that are available. You have a low ground expansion right outside your front door. Oh, another thing to note, there are 3 spawning locations on this map. This is one of the things that I wish that I would see more coming in on the current StarCraft 2 maps, where instead of 4 spawning locations, there are 3. So as soon as you scout in one direction, if you don't find your opponent, you automatically know where your opponent is based upon the process of elimination. A front door now being placed down over here by DieStar. There are 4 Xel'Naga watchtowers, but one of the Xel'Naga watchtowers 3 of the Xel'Naga watchtowers are actually blocked by destructible rocks, or all of them. No, the center one is not blocked by destructible rocks. So if you want to activate these Xel'Naga watchtowers, you need to take them down first. There is a decent amount of armor on those rocks though, so very early trying to take these Xel'Naga watchtowers will be rather difficult. Now another thing to note is there are destructible rocks here at the high yield mineral field, but on top of that, these are rich Vespene geysers. I believe you actually return more gas per trip. I've never seen a rich Vespene geyser in action, so I don't actually know what the rate of return is. I'll have to actually watch that. It may be set up per map, and I'm not, you may be able to set up, perhaps, no, you can't set up you could set up a hatchery here or a command center here in order to try to establish the rich Vespene geysers first, and then I guess lift off if you're a Terran player to eventually take down these rich mineral fields. Back into the game right now, one Marine trying to take down the drone, and it looks like, yes, just right at that range of 5, that Marine was able to get that kill there, so the scouting drone has been taken down. Production wise, you also see a factory currently being built. We may get a reactor as well, and as soon as we have a reactor, we will know that we are going into mass Helions. Taking a look at DieStar currently only has 1 refinery up currently, so with only 1 refinery, he's not going to be able to go into very heavy tech play. There is a hatchery already down over here by mouz, Morrow. And another thing to note is, if you see, there are little vents in the ground. These vents actually indicate the site of vision on the Xel'Naga watchtowers. So this Xel'Naga watchtower here will reveal just up to this edge. So you know, if you're fighting against a Terran player, where you can place your units, where they can activate the Xel'Naga watchtower and still get siege range and siege sight. Back over here, there is 1 overlord on this high ground. All of this high ground over here, it is a cliff, but it is untraversable cliff, so you are unable to drop any units up on this high ground. No siege tank cliffing, favoring a lot of Terran style of play. And SCV now moving out with a group of Marines, perhaps to try to set up a bunker. If you notice, there is a backdoor, a somewhat backdoor cliff entrance where Reapers and Colossi are able to easily move up and down that ramp. The Xel'Naga watchtower is probably just going to sit there for quite some time. We may get a bunker down. And now 1 SCV. That SCV, however, going to get impaled by Impaler Tentacle. And now down to 10 hit points. Now going over here, and I believe is going to try to shoot down this Overlord here. Marines not just trying to squeeze their way through, going after the Queen. There are a lot of drones, though, so that may be a little bit of an issue. And now, wow, that was just a very bad play by DieStar. DieStar attempting to push into the base of Morrow and was not successful. Morrow deciding to move his spine crawler into a little bit of a better position, allowing him to cover both the north and the south side of this entrance. There is 1 queen down over here. Production wise, we now see another command center being built. It should be lifted off. And is he going to actually try to lift it off into a different location, perhaps trying to take the high yield, or in this mineral patch over here, which is a little bit further away, or he could even try to go for the rich mineral fields and the rich gas. Back over here, Marine's not trying to shoot down this Overlord. The Overlord now trying to run for its life, and it needs to get back up onto that cliff, and it looks like it will be able to, now sitting at 95 life. and now moving away once again. Marines now deciding to make the trek all the way back. You can see the Vespene, or the gas geysers here revealing where the Xel'Naga watchtowers do give sight. In the center, this one Marine activating the Xel'Naga watchtower here, pretty much activating the entire center portion of the map as this game continues. Helions currently sitting over here. Perhaps they will be able to make a little bit of a push out. Zerglings now trying to do some scouting as well, making the trek off into this direction over here. There is currently no command center in the air, just upgrading to an orbital command. A Marauder now going after the Zergling. The Marauder doesn't have the concussive shell, so I believe the Zergling will get shot down very, very easily. A couple of Zerglings over here getting torched by Helions, and a final Marauder kill over there. So Helions may once again be trying to push on this front door. There are currently 2 queens here and also a creep tumor offering additional sight. The Marauders and the Marines have to be very careful when trying to go toe-to-toe against a lot of Zerglings and a lot of Zerg units, especially fighting on creep. And oh, those drones need to pull back. Those blue flame Helions are going to be able to get a lot of damage, and those Helions looking to kill some of those drones, perhaps going to try to get some kills onto those drones. Just focus onto the drones, and yeah, getting more kills there. Marauders and Zerglings, queens continuing to battle it out, and a lot of drones getting taken down. And DieStar, even though he's going to lose his attacking army, is going to get a lot of kills here. And taking a look at the harvester count, 31 to 23 now, and that is going to be a definite hurt for Morrows. That one Helion now trying to rake its way up the ramp. The spine crawler was taken down, but 3 queens doing their job, protecting the nest. And now we should see Morrow trying to power drone back up, currently only having 4 drones, and now needs to get a lot of pressure off of those Zerglings. Those Zerglings, however, now getting split apart by those Helions and getting toasted once again. So those Helions really doing a great job so far, dealing a lot of damage and getting a lot of drone kills. You can see a lot of creep tumors now being laid down and across multiple locations here, and now Morrow running out of energy, unable to expand and lay down any more creep tumors. But wow, 5 creep tumors on the ready to just expand creep and take the whole entire center portion of this map. There are high ground expansions here that are semi-island locations, only attackable by air or this choke point here. So I am interested to see how those expansions will work out. There is currently 1 Overlord, 3 missile turrets at the base, so DieStar more than ready to handle the Mutalisk that may be coming in. 5 Mutalisk now currently being trained. No Mutalisk over here. Mutalisk now making their way towards the destructible rocks. Wants to activate this Xel'Naga watchtower and then be able to get a very, very strong presence. 1 Marine activating this tower quickly gets shot down and taken down there. And the Zerglings once again returning. Morrow re-establishing now establishing his creep highway, has about 1/3 of the map already covered, and should be able to continue spreading creep tumors further and further out. We now see on the move Helions, Marines, and Marauders. Marauders and Marines trying to take down these destructible rocks in the center or over on their side of the map, and now Helions over here as well. So the Helions, however, going to quickly see some Mutalisk, and the Helions not getting the memo that they should retreat from flying units. Finally on the move once again, those Marines and Marauders trying to deal more damage towards these rocks. The rocks will get taken down with relative ease and then activate a good portion of the map. So you can see these 2 circles and a Venn diagram that does not intersect until you activate this center Xel'Naga watchtower here. Helions quickly coming in, taking down that last Zerg, and now the Helions back on the move. There are Marines. The Marines do have stim pack, but there are no medevacs nearby. Level 1 infantry weapons upgrade currently being researched. The Mutalisk may be able to pick off a couple of those Marines in transition, but simply just trekking straight into the group here, cleaning up many of these creep tumors. And many of those creep tumors are now taken out in addition to a queen. So a queen was lost in that entire engagement, and now more scanner sweeps trying to reveal even further. A Mutalisk now just getting into a massive, massive ball, trying to deal more damage. Marines now trying to make the trek away, activating this Xel'Naga watchtower. Poor Marine getting quickly shot down by those Mutalisks in the air. Zerglings now trying to swarm in, and I believe we'll be able to catch off some of these Marines and Marauders over here, dealing more damage. Marines getting picked apart, and now those Mutalisks simply going after those units. A couple Marines, and now Helions finish off the rest of those units, and now the Mutalisks continue to give chase. This is a problem. DieStar needs a lot more units and a lot more anti-air units to deal with this Mutalisk harassment. But Morrow not taking up a 3rd base, and that is a surprise to me. In order for him to continue to push out, he needs to take up a 3rd base. He is even on expansions, but he isn't taking up a 3rd base just quite yet, and that is going to allow DieStar to macro up very, very easily. A lot of missile turrets now fighting back over here. Another missile turret joining in on the fray, and perhaps another missile turret will be able to get even more of those Mutalisks. Mutalisk finally backing off. Marines now trying to come in once again. And now that front door is in trouble. There are a couple missile turrets here getting off one round of those longboat missiles from that missile turret. The +1 missile upgrades and the +1 range upgrade would actually be very, very critical at this time, allowing those missile turrets to cover a much wider range and a much wider area, or perhaps even the Terran plating armor. Taking a look at the unit combination, 54 SCVs for DieStar. So DieStar, beyond saturation, both at his main base and at his natural expansion. Mutalisk now just sitting here by the Xel'Naga Watchtower containing DieStar in his base. We now finally see a third base being taken up by Morrow. Morrow could have taken this expansion or even this expansion here. Both expansions are very, very close to the second base. You just generally want to expand away from your opponent. And now this one Marine trying to make the trek back. We now see a very large number of Mutalisks in the air, 19. Just wandering around the map continually. Level 1 weapons upgrade on those Mutalisks, and now perhaps going to try to sit up on this high ledge here and deal damage. There are some missile turrets here, and the missile turrets are going to be able to deal a lot of damage, but now just using that massive Mutalisk ball, using them similar to Brood War, and now coming in, getting a lot of damage onto those SCVs, and now in full retreat once again. Helion's looking to deal more damage. There are scanner sweeps now revealing a couple of those creep tumors. Creep tumors will get cleaned up in just a moment, but there are banelings, and with the speed movement upgrade currently being researched, and those Marines have to be on the lookout. They have to be very careful, especially when fighting on creep, when banelings are much faster than even stimmed Marines. The banelings are moving at, I believe, what is that movement speed? It's right now moving at 3.25, which is slightly slower, but now moving at a movement speed of almost 4, which is significantly faster than those Marines, which move at 3.37 while stim. Zerglings now trying to take down these destructible rocks over here. Will be able to get the rich Vespene geysers up in just a moment, and now the Mutalisk perhaps going in for a flank. There are a lot of supply depots here, and those supply depots are going to get picked apart. Mutalisk now simply trying to come in, going after those missile turrets dealing some damage, but unable to stop the swarm of so many Mutalisks in the air. 19 continuing to deal damage. That chain damage now continuing to chain onto the rest of those reactors and those additional barracks over here. DieStar unable to really have a fast enough moving army in order to try to push out. In comes some Thors, and that Thor, 1 round, 2 rounds of javelin missiles getting a lot of damage onto those Mutalisks. Those Mutalisks being forced to pull back. 1 Marine trying to stand against the swarm, unable to. Perhaps if those Marines were positioned right here, they would have been able to intercept and taken down all of those Mutalisks very, very easily and tried to even out that fight. Only there are currently 19 Mutalisks left. If perhaps half of those were gone, this would be a much, much closer battle. Morrow does have a smaller army though, and now the Marines coming in from this side and now getting a lot of damage once again. Thors and Marines continuing to push up and down this ramp over here. Siege tanks now sieging up as well. That's obviously why Morrow didn't decide to take that expansion, as it is just in the path. Morrow now getting a lot of banelings and a lot of Zerglings, both sides about even in terms of mineral count armies, but gas army definitely in favor of Morrow. Siege tank starting to siege up, will be able to start dealing some damage towards those banelings, and now in comes the fight here. Banelings and Mutalisk just suiciding in them, but the banelings suicided much against those siege tanks and didn't deal enough damage towards those Marines. Banelings now chasing those Marines, melting the rest of the Marines over here, but many of those Mutalisks have been taken down. So now Marines, Thors, and Zerglings continue to just try to swarm back and forth. Thor's now pushing in. Helion's getting some more blue flame damage across multiple drones. And now I believe Morrow is in full retreat. The hatchery at the natural expansion will get taken down. Morrow simply mining off of 1 base right now, compared to DieStar's 1.5 bases. More Marines still being queued up, being trained. 1 upgraded Marines, 16 banelings currently being hatched over here. That is going to be a lot of damage. More Marines trying to come back over here, and now scanner sweeps. Banelings simply coming in, getting a lot of damage off, finish off many of those Marines. 1 Marine taking down 2 banelings before it goes. A very, very nice trade there by DieStar, but DieStar now needs to be careful as more banelings trying to come in once again. More splash damage. Siege tanks getting in some splash damage over here by that Xel'Naga Watchtower, and that really helped DieStar out. Queen's now trying to pull back once again. More Marines continuing to push forward, and now it looks as though on the high ground there's not going to be enough of an army from Morrow. Morrow needs to attack with these Zerglings. Zerglings now trying to push around, trying to do a decent surround over here, attacking from the north and the south, but the Marines not having to worry about too many banelings here, as there are only a couple of Mutalisks left. Queen's trying to join in on the fight, but unable to. 1 siege tank by that one tree. Couldn't see him under the medevacs there, but able to get off even more kills. Marines being very gung-ho, going to move in, trying to take down even more queens, going after some of those drones that are in the back. More units swarming in from behind as well, but the Marines, which are upgraded 1-1, dealing so much damage. And I believe Morrow will need to say GG, especially as more Marines are still being queued up. 6 Mutalisks now being hatched once again. Marines are back on the move, trying to move away, and oh, one Mutalisk in the air. The Marines could have taken it down, decided not to. Another hatchery down over here, but we will never see how much gas a rich Vespene Geyser does return. And now there's the GG coming in from Morrow. So Morrow, after taking game 1, loses the next 2 games, and now DieStar has a 2-1 advantage on top of mouz Morrow going into game 4 in this best of 5 series in the finals. And Go4SC2, I believe, finals number 79. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between mouz Morrow and DieStar here on Testbug? Yeah, here on Testbug, I believe. Hopefully I didn't butcher the name. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.